Welcome to this Hope to Go. Today I want to talk to you about being lost in the crowd. You know, there's something about being lost in the crowd that is the most horrific experience that one can imagine. If you've ever been separated from your child in a crowd, or you've received a negative diagnosis or a verdict, you know all too well the feeling of being alone and needing a miracle. You know, the Bible in Luke 8:43-48 shares a powerful illustration of a person lost in the crowd, but who found freedom and received a miracle. So much has been said and preached in relation to this desperate woman with the issue of blood and the miraculous deliverance that she received. She had suffered for 12 long years, spent all the money that she had to find a cure. She had abandoned all religious protocol, customs, rules, and regulations to get to Jesus. But what leaps off the pages of the Bible today is Luke 48 or Luke 8:45. The New Living Translation says, "Who touched me?" Jesus asked. Everyone denied it. And Peter said, "Master, this whole crowd is pressing up against you." It's not that God healed someone who had been suffering for a long period of time. Jesus had healed a woman who had been sick for 18 years, and Jesus had healed a man who had been blind since birth. The thing that jumps out to me is the question of Jesus: who touched me? Now that's the true focus and the response of the crowd. They all denied it. Luke 8:45. You know, we most likely would have responded a lot like Peter. "What do you mean? Who touched me? Everyone here is touching you, Lord." The word translated touched here is interesting because it doesn't mean what we would commonly define it as in North America. We define it means to feel. Yet many in the crowd felt him. Many of you tuning in today, you feel something. You may sense the presence of the Lord. You may even have a health need or a family need, or even be desperate for direction. You know, the word touched here Jesus uses can actually be translated to fasten oneself to. It implies getting a death grip on something, like a pit bull, and then locking on to something. It implies grabbing hold without the intention of ever letting go. You know, the Bible says that they all denied it. What separates the faces in the crowd from the woman with the issue of blood, the crowd still sees Jesus as just another option. She saw Jesus as her only option. Let me give you some hope to go. If you want a miracle and you find yourself lost in a crowd, number one, keep your eyes on Jesus. Luke 8:43-48, it says, a woman in the crowd who suffered for 12 years with constant bleeding, and she could find no cure. Coming up behind Jesus, she touched the fringe of his robe. Immediately, the bleeding stopped. Jesus is God of the impossible. Man, you get a hold of him and you got it. Number two, tenaciously stay in your faith. Luke 8:46 says, but Jesus said, someone deliberately touched me, for I felt healing power go out of me. You know, this kind of faith could be defined: forsaking all, I trust him only. Romans 12:3. God says this: he has dealt to each one of us, you and me, a measure of faith. Exercise your faith today. And three, and finally, remember the word. 2 Chronicles 16:9 says, the eyes of the Lord search the whole earth in order to strengthen those whose hearts are fully committed to him. God is still surveying the crowd, looking for the one who would touch him, that one who would fasten themselves to him. That's the one that's going to receive the miracle, and that's your hope to go.